Welcome. So today I'm going to discuss about my paper Innocuous encryption using images in a way that is very accessible to all kind of audience, including people who have non-specialization in this subject. So to make it simple and more organized, I have divided my paper into several parts, and there are many parts which discusses the introductory points of the and the basic knowledge that is required for this paper. So I have just made Q A to Q these sections. So in section A, or might be the point A, we have the photo system. So this section deals with what is a digital photo and what is how digital photos are taken by devices. So this is important because our method uses the images to encrypt data. And in part B we have encryption, the age and edge of encryption. So the one is AGE age and the EDGE of encryption. So it discusses what is encryption, why it is used, and why it is so prevalent these days. So this is age, and what benefit does it bring. So this is the EDGE age. In part C we use human vision. We describe human vision in very briefly, not along the points of how images are made in the retina, but how humans differentially perceives the different wavelengths of light and also their intensity. So this is very important because because our image is what we see. So the human context is pretty important, also because it could have been left out, but our method in our process we have a specific reference to it, so this is required. In part D, fashionably called dragnets, it shows the limitations to encryption and why something more is required. In part E we have expensive practical work. It is not actually very expensive, but as because I was not under any funding, and I had to bring some hardware from the United States, so I just used it as a reference, and what I used the hardware part in my work. In part F, the futility of innocuousness, futility and innocuousness. So in part F we discuss why this encryption standards are futile for innocuousness and what problems it can bring, and how our methods can increase its innocuousness and make it more sophisticated and more safer, more secure, etc. So after F, in G we have GLUI interception and evasion. So here we discuss the methods that are commonly used to intercept this encrypted data, and not specifically decrypt them, but to prove that the data is encrypted, to be in the suspicion that the data is encrypted, and what problems it can bring and how it can be evaded in some measures. In part H we have handle with moderation. This part is the crux of the paper, and it describes how handling with moderation in a specific technical way to images can does the part of our paper. So in part I we have an extension of this age and this is for inanimate safe zones. So this is also one of the main parts of our paper, innocuous encryption using images. In part J, we have the hardware implementation and how it can be implemented in the hardware. It details about the hardwares and how then the hardware hierarchy. In part K, we have software implementation and how software implementations can be used. In part L, we have the software work, some part of the software that I made in this regard and how it is supposed to work. And in part M, we have massive use scenarios, the places where we can use this technique. In part N is not a terrorist, anti-terrorism. This is a specific example which we gathered from practical experience from the from a security agency that is working in our country. And in part O, we have a brief unification of all the methods we have described. And in part P, we have more pointers to what can be done and which parts can be more utilized. And in part Q, we have questions and references. So this is like a little discussion about some questions that are commonly arising. And so this is it. But in the part A would be quite long, because we have to describe certain more ideas to it. So in future I might just add one more like this H1 or H2 or I1 or I2 to make it more comprehensible and easily understandable, and of course including every part of the paper. So and also we discuss specific standards like the AES and the two-fish, the JPEG format, the PNG format, the RAW format of images, because an essential knowledge about them, a little knowledge about them would be nice to have, to understand. And also we discussed some of the techniques, some of the mathematical techniques that is done in these file formats. So that is it. This is the overview of which things are to come. So thank you for listening, and please enjoy the next video also. Welcome. So today I am going to discuss about my paper Innocuous Encryption Using Images in a way that is very accessible to all kind of audience, including people who have